that's moving me. Oh, there's a mighty wind blowing that cannot be contained, and it's felt in every nation from the valleys
It's been
to
a
the plains.
fun ride. I often tell people I got saved when I was 11 years old, and I wrote my first song when I was 12. And everything that I ever wanted to do was out of the church. I always felt that God was the creator and that we didn't have to copy other sounds, but that God could give us a sound. And I think that's what they heard when they heard the Winans, which were the four Winans brothers. What that says to gospel artists is that we have to be more committed to the gospel, that we have to be more committed to Christ. We have to be more committed to what God has called us to do and be. And that would be my message. It's not just another genre of music. It is a lifestyle. It is what you believe. Your songs should reflect your faith. They should be doctrinally and scripturally correct. They should talk about your experience. They should talk about how God relates to you and how you relate to God. Not only when you're in the mountaintop of your praise and worship moment, but when you're in the valley and you don't know how you're going to get out, how do you relate to God? And in those night seasons, God has given me tremendous revelation and songs. And that is what's going to cause the artist to survive if they have commitment to Jesus and not just to their careers. If you give God the credit, whatever God gives you, if you give it back to him, that means he can trust you with more. And so I think that's the secret. The secret is being committed to Christ, not just to music, not just to writing songs, but committed to him. I think if you approach God from a very truthful vantage point, then God recognizes truth. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not, but you can't stay as you are if it's less than what God has called you to be. And so if you're honest in your music and honest just in your presentation, that Jesus said, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. I remember when I won my first Grammy. We were on stage and I was speechless. I mean, usually I'm the one that does all the talking, as you can tell. But standing there, I couldn't find the words to say. This was a dream come true. And so Marvin did the talking, and I just walked off, and I was like, oh my God, I've won 2 Grammys in one night. And when I'm walking off stage, the Holy Spirit shouted in me, and he said, I did not call you to win Grammys. I called you to win souls. Changed me right there. And a lot of times, if you think your purpose is to be famous, if you think your purpose is to be the next Michael Jackson or the next Whitney Houston or the next whoever, then you'll leave what God has anointed you to do. But if you recognize that your purpose is to win souls and your purpose is to be a light, and you stay with that purpose, then you won't get sidetracked by all of the distractions. You must always go back to the reason you're doing what you're doing. I try to teach people and tell them this: never perform, never work for money. Work for purpose. Once you discover what that purpose is, then you work for it. When you say God has called you to be a gospel artist, and I don't think they're pastors, I think they are leaders, and they have to have respect for what they do. If God lifts you, then what God ordains, God sustains. And it's very important that our source be His, and we recognize Him as our source. Then for us to lean on our own understanding or on the resources that we may have amassed or acquired. So I think God is up to something special in Kenya. So if you all become united in the purpose of promulgating the gospel, then everyone rises.